Texans have priorities this offseason, and ESPN, we'll be reacting to them right now. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of The Lead. Your host, as always, Harley Dugan. It's the offseason, and in the offseason, we like to react to a lot of ESPN articles. It was very successful for me last year, so I am going to do this one more time. Remember, I have the ESPN Plus subscription, so if anybody wants to check it out, you can just come on in and check out the videos right down here. So while you're at it, you might as well subscribe. We're on the road to 8,000 subscribers. Remember, this is The Lead, where it's all Houston all the time. And while you're at it, go ahead and smash that like button, easiest smash of your life. Comment down below. What do you think is the key free agents, the key priorities for the Houston Texans? This is coming from ESPN, a little bit of DJ Bieniemy and a little bit of the other national media talking heads, all gathered around and shared their insight into what they think the priorities are for the Houston Texans and some key re-signings / free agents for them in the 2024 offseason. So without further ado, let's go ahead and add this to the stage. Bam! There we go. So right away, we have the Houston Texans. Obviously, we went 10-7. We have about $71.4 million in cap space. And we have the number 23rd pick. So the biggest offseason priority that they're talking about is no other than the obvious. It's Jonathan Greenard. We all know about Jonathan Greenard and the year he had, whether it's a one-year wonder or not. I don't think so. I think this is something that you can actually gather more stats from him to come in the future. Injuries, that's always a big question mark, but they do say he's a big reason why the defense registered 46 sacks on the year. He did have 12.5 on the year, so I could see why the Houston Texans should be looking at re-signing Jonathan Greenard. That price tag's going to be high, though, and they're calling him a premier pass rusher. Premier pass rushers, you're looking at least $20 million for Jonathan Greenard, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if the Houston Texans are going to do that. I don't know how much they value in him. Do they think they can replace him? We'll find out a lot more in this article, but an under-the-radar offseason priority, Houston has to get C.J. Stroud one more playmaker. We all know this. We saw it in the Ravens game. All you had was Nico Collins. And as much blame you can throw to Bobby Slowick is as much blame you can throw into the offseason roster construction and specifically the wide receiver group. That's why a lot of Texans fans in this offseason were clamoring for the name DeAndre Hopkins when he became available. Just a guy that could be an easy button for C.J. Stroud. Also because there was a lack of weapons offensively for this team. We didn't know Nico Collins was going to turn into a dog. We didn't know. We had some unknowns. There was hype around Tank Dell, but it was still unknown. And then you didn't know what you were going to get out of Robert Woods, Noah Brown, and John Mechie, and even rookie Xavier Hutchinson. You know, none of them guys shocked you or surprised you in any way. Nico was the biggest surprise and turned out to be very well for you. But we saw in the Ravens game, without Tank Dell, all having Nico Collins in, Dalton Schultz, it was pretty easy to shut down the offense for the Houston Texans for those Baltimore Ravens. This is DJ Bieniemy right here talking about Nico Collins, Tank Dell, but adding to that group can make the offense more dynamic. That is something we want, Texans fans. It is the difference between a Pro Bowl level play from Stroud and getting an MVP caliber performance. That's what we want. We want this offense to transform itself. That is why so many fans have been clamoring for a wide receiver in either free agency, maybe double dip and get one in free agency and one in the draft. I have no problem with it. More weapons for CJ equals more points, in my opinion. And I am a fan of more points, right? Latest on whether they will re-sign Jonathan Greenard. Texans could make a run at Greenard, long-term bookend to Will Anderson Jr., both backup pass rushers. Derek Barnett and Jerry Hughes are also free agents. That's coming from Jeremy Fowler from ESPN. Look, Derek Barnett has to be a must re-sign for this Texans team, regardless if they bring back Greenard or not. Derek Barnett was an absolute huge pickup wire for you, so this is somebody that should be an easy slam dunk button. Jerry Hughes, not so much. Draft outlook. After last year's trade up, we all know about it. Texans don't have an original first rounder, but we do have Cleveland's, and Cleveland's is at 23. They are suggesting, and this is coming from Matt Miller, who is a draft analyst expert for ESPN. Ennis Rakestraw Jr. from Missouri, physical, aggressive cover man with a late round 1 grade. As we saw with the Texans in the playoffs specifically, we saw them start shadowing guys. We saw them using a lot more man-to-man coverage. If Ennis Rakestraw is somebody that is capable of being a cover man-to-man guy and can shade the opposite side of the field, we don't know what's going to happen with Steven Nelson. He's also up for free agency. Cornerback is a really big priority for this team. I like Terrion Arnold from Alabama. I also like Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama. So throw those 2 names in there as well. And then the big prediction for the offseason, Texans will be a popular destination in free agency, obviously, because of C.J. Stroud, DeMeco Ryans and company, Cal McNair, Hannah, thank you, Nick Casario, thank you. DeMeco Ryans and enjoy a contract with no state income tax, snaps. Look for the Texans to bring in a veteran depth edge rusher. So does that mean that we do not bring back a Jonathan Greenard? Because if I'm saying let's bring back Derek Barnett, they're saying they could also bring in another depth edge rusher. Maybe it's to replace Jerry Hughes, but Randy Gregory or Clelin Ferrell to replace Hughes and play behind Anderson and Greenard. So they're saying, hey, bring back Greenard and add a Randy Gregory or a Clelin Ferrell. I have no problem in a Randy Gregory. I don't know too much about Clelin Ferrell off the top of my head. I know he played for the San Francisco 49ers this past year, so he should know the system and the scheme that DeMeco wants to run here in Houston. Randy Gregory is an interesting edge rusher that I would have no problem with if I'm a Texans fan, dependent on price and dependent on how much he is willing to complete himself as a football player. He did get cut from the Broncos. Didn't really see a team go crazy for him as soon as he did get cut. So the Texans, I still believe Derek Barnett is better than both of them. Just because what you grabbed from him with DeMeco Ryans' system. But Randy Gregory, Clelin Ferrell, it's all right. It's nothing too crazy. Could be cheaper options. I would still look at the draft as well to add on to the defensive line. But this Houston Texans team, this is what they got so far. This is ESPN's outlook on them. So, hey, whether or not you agree, disagree, make sure you drop it down below in the comment section. As always, guys, go Astros, go Rockets, go Texans. You have a blessed day.